Breaking news, Ubisoft has a new interesting development strategy. Throw a bunch of Assassin's Creeds at the wall and see what sticks. What's up, nerds, and welcome to Endgame. I'm Hoops4, and today I want to go over a little bit of news regarding Ubisoft's development strategy and Xbox's console strategy. Both are interesting to say the least. So with that, let's not waste any time, let's go ahead and enter gaming.
Enter gaming.
So let's go ahead and start with the Ubisoft news. Ubisoft currently has 11 Assassin's Creed games planned and in development. This is according to Tom Henderson at Insider Gaming, and I will link the article in the description below if you want to read it. You may recall that a couple months ago, some other Ubisoft news broke where they disclosed that they were going all in on mega franchises because in their eyes, that's what's going to have success. So they have followed that up by apparently deciding that Assassin's Creed is their mega franchise that will bring in the big bucks. So why not have 11 games in development at the same time? What could possibly go wrong? So, in other words, Ubisoft is putting all of their eggs in one Assassin's Creed basket. Let's take a look at these 11 games and then break this down further. So first up, Assassin's Creed Mirage, back to basics single player game, October 12, 2023. That's fine and dandy, we've known about this forever. Assassin's Creed Nexus is the virtual reality game, and it is in production and it is still scheduled for this year. Assassin's Creed Codename Jade is a mobile game that's in production, and it is still expected 2023. Codename Red is a single-player game, it is in production, and they say 2024. Codename Hex is single-player in pre-production for 25-26, and in the same year, there is Codename Invictus, which is multiplayer. Nexus 2 is the sequel to Nexus, and it is VR, and it is currently being discussed internally, and a Black Flag remake has just been greenlit. And just as a quick aside, if you are enjoying this content, then please consider subscribing to the channel. Most of my viewers are not subscribed, and it would help me out a ton. So as far as more details on those, Project Nebula is set to be in 3 different settings: India, the Aztec Empire, and the Mediterranean. And then Project Raid is a free-to-play 4-player co-op title that will be PvE. And then Codename Echoes has been pitched as another multiplayer title that will use Ubisoft scalar technology, which is a new cloud computing technique that they're using to up the scale of their games. So after all this, looking at all these 11 games that they have in development, here's my question. What is Assassin's Creed at this point? Because this is all over the map. I would have to assume that at least some of these will end up being very big worlds again. You have Mirage, which is back to basics. You have several multiplayer titles. You have a remake. You have 2 VR titles. You have a mobile game. What is Assassin's Creed? It's not the Ezio trilogy anymore. And that's my standpoint, because Assassin's Creed 2, Brotherhood, and Revelations are the 3 best games in the series in my opinion. Maybe throw in Black Flag in there. But that Ezio trilogy is, to me, what Assassin's Creed is. What is Assassin's Creed to Ubisoft? I don't know. And I don't think they know. They're just throwing a bunch of stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks. So after all this, I don't know what lessons they've learned, because Assassin's Creed started going downhill once they hit Unity because they were on an annual release schedule. So they said, okay, wait, let's take a step back, let's look at this again, and then we had Origins, Odyssey, and Valhalla, which all had a little more time in between, but then they went towards the action-adventure, massive open-world RPGs. So now they're going back, they have 11 games, and the first, 6 of them are supposed to be within the next 3 years. That's a lot. Did they learn a lesson, or are they going back and unlearning whatever that was and saying, no, you know what, this time it'll work? I don't know. I'm not sure, but this is super interesting news, a very bold strategy, and I mean, I heard it said earlier, law of averages, right? One of them has to be good, right? I mean, you have 11 games, surely one of them has to be a good game. Ubisoft is still just baffling to me. Like, I understand what they're going for here. I get it. Assassin's Creed is what they're calling their staple, their mega franchise. But Assassin's Creed can't be everything at once, and that's what they've tried to do in the past. You had Assassin's Creed, you had your Far Cry. All of a sudden, their worlds are mixed in what's what anymore. I mean, Far Cry 6 was pretty much Far Cry 3 for the 4th time in a row? Because it's the same formula. In the last 3 Assassin's Creed games, while I have enjoyed them to some degree, especially Odyssey, they have just basically used the same open world formula that's in Far Cry. And this is even talking and going into some of their other franchises, but not everything else is doing well either. Sparks of Hope massively undersold, which that one does surprise me because I found that to be a really good game. So really, at this point, are we seeing desperation from Ubisoft? Is that what this is, or is this what they think will really bring in the most money? Because they slapped the Assassin's Creed name on it and it's gonna sell. One other interesting thing is to focus on the multiplayer, because multiplayer in Assassin's Creed has been very limited before. You had little modes like in Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, and those were fine, but to form a whole game around it, I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure how you swing that to make it work. And especially that they've confirmed that one of them is going to be free-to-play 4-player co-op PvE, which rings a lot of alarm bells in my head. Look at all the other live services. Look at the ones that have succeeded and the ones that have failed, because the ones in success have had really good ideas, but the thing is with live service, only a certain number can succeed. Think of it like the money that everyone has to put into their games is of a pie. The ones that succeed are going to be the ones that get most of that pie, because not everyone can put all of their time, all of their money into multiple games. Maybe you can get it out of 2, maybe 3 if that's what you do. But to put it into a whole bunch, I don't see a lot of people doing that. You look at the ones that have already failed, the big AAA ones, Anthem, Avengers. You look at Suicide Squad, which has already been delayed a year and is basically going to be dead on arrival because of how it set up its system. Why they still think that this is the way to go for their Assassin's Creed games, I'm not sure. We know how this live service thing goes. Only a couple of them can succeed, because they're all vying for your time, your attention, and your money to funnel into their battle passes. So, are they putting all their eggs in that kind of basket? And I would ask Sony the same thing, because if you saw at their last showcase, they had a whole lot of live service games in there. And their financial report has even had increased percentages in the live service area, but that's a topic for another video. So, what is Ubisoft doing? I don't know, and do they know what they're doing? I'm not convinced. But what about the consoles they play the games on? Because Xbox has recently come out, and it has apparently been found, after all this time, that the Series X is basically a mid-gen console. And this is according to a comment made in 2020, and basically what it comes down to is they are not expecting a mid-gen refresh. They see the Series X as their mid-gen refresh to the Series S. So after all this time, we've all had the Xbox Series X all wrong. It is not the main console. It is the upgrade that's supposed to be partway through the generation to the S. So that's why everything has to be tailored to the Xbox S, because in Microsoft's eyes, that is their #1 console. And the X is just a bonus for people who want more specs, better specs. Personally, I don't get this at all. Why you would release the Xbox Series X early, and then not expect people to think that your more powerful console is the real thing, I don't know. It also shows just how poor the marketing has been for Microsoft and Xbox, because no one knew this. Everyone has thought that the Series X was the main console this whole time, and that things had to be downgraded for the Series S. Well, no, things are having to be built at the baseline for their true model for this generation. So this was all in a Digital Foundry video from 2020, and I am looking at an article on Pure Xbox, and I will leave that link down in the description below, and it should have the links to everything else that you may want to see. It's just surprising that after all this time, it has still been not clear, and the message that Xbox has wanted has not been put across to any of us. It just shows how their marketing has been, it just shows how their communication has been. And maybe at this point they're trying to turn a corner. Their showcase was really good. I think Xbox is on the up and coming once again, but at the end of the day they have to have games. And no matter what this hardware saga is, if everything has to run 30 FPS and on the Series S, fine. And we'll take the SSD upgrade that is here just in time for Starfield. Great. But I'm still baffled that the communication has been this poor from Xbox and Microsoft. So there you have it. There's your news on Ubisoft and Xbox. let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. I'm especially curious what you have to say about the Ubisoft and Assassin's Creed thing. If you enjoyed this video, then please leave a like, and like I said, comment your thoughts, and consider subscribing to the channel. I'm Hoobs4, this is In-Game. I'll see you a lot in the next one. Peace. Thank you for watching, right here on In-Game. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe for more content.